Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, good evening. My name is Karen Lindquist, and I'm co-founder of Greenstream Technologies. We monitor and report conditions in the environment, and our first product targets flooding. During a spring thunderstorm, water began to pool on Tryon Road in South Raleigh. An ambulance attempted to cross and was quickly engulfed in the water. The occupants were rescued, but the ambulance was destroyed. That same thunderstorm took out over $500,000 worth of vehicles that day. This happens again and again in cities across the United States, and it gets worse every year. Did you know that it floods somewhere in North Carolina every 7.5 days? And if you're from here, you know all too well that most hurricane losses are due to flooding. And even more troubling than the economic losses are the safety risks. 2/3 of all flood fatalities happen because somebody either drives or walks into floodwater. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that many of these losses could be prevented, and so do our customers, state and local authorities. Their jobs would be easier if they had more real-time, street-by-street information on where is it flooding exactly right now in my jurisdiction and how deep is it. Our solution? Greenstream advises when the water rises, and let me explain how we do it. A dense array of sensors monitors water levels over creeks, swamps, and even over streets. And they transmit the data in real time to our cloud system, which then sends the information to our clients' emergency management systems. And all of this happens in real time. We report every 6 minutes, 24/7, rain or shine. Greenstream brings the cost of environmental monitoring down. Traditional USGS gauges do a good job, but they cost $20,000 to $30,000 to deploy and $5,000 every year thereafter in maintenance. And at that price, communities can't afford enough sensors to get the detailed picture they need. Greenstream sensors cost less than $2,000 upfront and under $500 a year, making the 5-year cost of ownership 1/10 that of USGS. More detailed data is key to better response, and more detailed data is key to more precise predictions. And this price point makes flood monitoring affordable for small communities and for individual property owners. Greenstream sensors are tiny and unobtrusive enough to fit on a lamppost in town. They're rugged enough to survive in the wild. They power themselves and they communicate wirelessly anywhere. Our revenue model is based on upfront device sales and services, and we earn recurring revenues through subscriptions and maintenance. We see a potential US market of $650 million in device sales and $75 million a year in subscription, but that's for the government segment alone. And we plan to grow that segment in partnership with environmental engineering firms that are already serving the segment. We've also discovered attractive commercial applications for our technology. This spring, we'll have deployed 53 sensors in Virginia and the Carolinas. And we're just getting started. So we're working with cities like Wilson and Portsmouth and Virginia Beach, and we're monitoring their flood-prone neighborhoods. We've also partnered with environmental engineering firm Atkins Global to serve the North Carolina Department of Emergency Management. And we did a small pilot project last year, and this year we are rolling out a larger deployment. We have a well-balanced team of seasoned engineers, technicians, and business people. We're proud to have won the MIT Solve Challenge last year. We're very proud to be part of RIoT. And we are also proud to have been selected as semi-finalists for the current NC IDEA Seed Grant competition, so thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, We want a world where this doesn't happen, and we believe you do too. So please help us build smarter, safer, more resilient communities by introducing us to potential customers. We're looking for environmental firms, government officials, and owners of flood-prone property. The Earth is talking. Now we can listen with Greenstream Technologies. Thank you. And I'd like to invite my partner and technology mastermind, Jim Gray, to join me for questions.
Great. Thanks, Karen. Thank you.
Hey guys, great presentation, thank you. Just a couple of questions. I'll start with, did I understand that this technology could be deployed like for a single property owner?
Yes.
And what does that cost look like for a property owner who's in the floodplain and is really trying to figure it out and be proactive?
So that's less than $1,000 up front and probably about $120 a year, and they can do the maintenance themselves. It's really easy.
Yeah, and that upfront cost includes not only the price of the unit, but the installation as well.
Insurance cover that for folks who, I know a lot of folks can't even get mortgages in floodplains, but the land is more affordable. So do insurance companies cover the cost for homeowners?
Do you want to take it?
That's a good question. I'll be honest, we don't know. We haven't heard anything like that. So.
But that would be a good thing to pursue, to set up something like that with the insurance companies. If anybody knows any insurance companies, please introduce us.
Can you talk a little bit about the monitoring process? I mean, you said your company monitors the data. How are people notified? Is it through AI? Is it human monitoring it? Can you talk about that?
Sure. In the case of North Carolina, the data is being fed into the FIMAN system, which is the state's flood monitoring and warning system, so that we're pushing data in and they're currently pushing out the alerts. For all our customers, we also provide dashboards for them, and we have built out a notification service. The goal is to scale that up to be able to push out to the public. Right now, we're just using it for maintenance purposes.
Have you all thought about letting go of the product and maybe selling it through a license agreement through municipalities or taking it to the EPA?
We have thought about that. That is sort of, where do we go as we scale up, and what is that solution for being able to handle the scale and demand? We are seeing, honestly, it hasn't been a very hard sell for our customers. And that is one of the things that we're working on, is how can we scale up and handle that sort of situation.
Can you talk a little bit about the life expectancy of the battery in your sensors and how much testing you have done on it, and have there been any issues? And then I have a follow-up.
Yeah, that's a good question. So when it comes to power consumption, that I would say is the one thing we spend the most time on. We are truly IoT in the wild, and those units have to stay up and running, and they have to be running in the worst possible situation you can imagine. The units are running off batteries. They are running off solar. We've spent a lot of time on pulling down the power consumption as best we can. On a normal day, battery will top off by the end of the day. We can go anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks if the panel completely dies or is stolen. The idea is that the units can weather the storm, get through those rough periods, and then when the weather clears, they can charge back up and they're ready to go.
And how long do they last? How often do you have to change what's the life expectancy of the product itself?
As far as mean time before failure, we're looking at anywhere maybe 10 to 15 years. We haven't had to swap out a single battery pack to date.
Thank you.
Thank you.